The reason that people develop insecure attachments after sex, which is jealousy or greed for more sex or whatever other insecurity that they have, it amplified what was already there. Hey y'all, welcome back to Holistic Flow. I am your girl Lolo, and as a disclaimer, this is gonna be a raw video about sex, so I'm not gonna censor nothing. If you don't feel good in your spirit about talking about sex or even saying the word sex, then maybe click off of this video. However, if you have either had sex before or you're wondering something about spiritual soul ties, then keep on watching. But if you are 16 years or younger, I'd recommend clicking off this video. I know that people are under that age or at that age or above that age are gonna have sex anyway, so maybe I should tell you keep watching. I don't know, what the hell, I don't know. But anyways, hey y'all, a lot of y'all enjoyed my video that I did about a year ago actually, and it was called Sexual Indulgence and Spirituality, and I was talking about the very spiritual components in sex. And I know for a lot of people, sex is not that spiritual, it's mostly physical for you. If that is you, then why did you even click on this video? Because it's about spirituality and sex. So most people clicking on this video, you either know that you've been bound by having sex with a certain person, or you're maybe just curious about having sex because you haven't had sex. And if you haven't, you're curious. I'm going to be telling a little bit of my experience about a history of, number one, growing up in a religious background and honestly being fearful of sex, and then what happened after that fear was abolished and why it was. But I just want to start by saying that sex is often glamorized. It is honestly perverted, and I don't think sex is a bad thing. It is an awesome, amazing thing, and it's something designed by the Most High, something designed by God. It has been a mode of therapy for some people. It's been a mode of healing for other people, and then for some people it's been a mode of coping. And I'm a strong believer in whatever or however you use a thing is how it will be used unto you. Ooh, that was good. Meaning, what is your purpose, or why are you indulging yourself in this thing, and what will come out of it is a result of how you went into it. That's how I'm gonna start. Let's get into the video. So I'm gonna talk a lot about how sex is in relationships. Most of us understand that when you get into a relationship with someone, or whether it's a relationship or situationship, you most of the time can tell if it is going to get a little bit manipulative, toxic, or negatively impactful in your life by the first 3 to 6 months, right? There are little red flags that honestly a lot of us probably ignore, because most of the time we just want to feel loved. We want to experience what it's like to feel a bond and a long-lasting attachment with somebody. And once we start to invest our time, and honestly for a lot of us our money and our affection into a situation, we want to reap the benefits. So a soul tie happens when two people get intimate in a way that it makes them spiritually exposed. And I was looking at a lot of videos about soul ties before this and was wondering why all of them seem really negative. Like, they were painting soul ties in a negative way. And then I started to think, oh, I see, it's because soul ties are a negative thing. It's when a negative energy or spirit is bound to you, or you are bound to it by or through sex. When you are able to feel a person's energy, most of us are able to do it Actually, all of us are able to do it. Hell, like, you can notice when somebody is not good for you. You just don't feel like you can open up and be vulnerable around them. You don't feel like you can be spiritually exposed or emotionally exposed with them. And that is why a lot of people get into situationships, because you're only there for the physical pleasure. You're only there for the sex, and you're there because it feels safe, because you don't have to be emotionally open. I'm not verifying or justifying any of these things. I'm just explaining why they happen. And when that happens, a lot of times we don't have these type of conversations to provoke enough stimulation in the other person's mind to see where their head is at or what their intentions are with you. And a lack of communication, because either you're there for the sex, or you're just afraid that that person will run away, or you'll scare them off by the things that you'll say. That leads to a lot of masking, and it's so much easier for both people, for both parties, to wear a mask, to like have or be a facade in that situation. And so soul ties happen when you bound yourself to somebody who has negative energy and you take on their energy. It's like an energy exchange and like an energy tie. And the thing is, you can prevent a soul tie. You can definitely prevent a soul tie or a negative soul tie, because I do believe that there are positive ones, by listening to your intuition. There's a key thing that you can do before every single intimate encounter, which is notice if you're uncomfortable being in that person's energy. That's a clear sign that whatever toxicity is going on before the physical, spiritual, or sexual intimacy, it's going to be magnified afterwards. So if you don't feel like you can open up around them and be vulnerable, that is sort of like a catalyst or umbrella for all the other red flags that can possibly and potentially happen when a person simply wants to use you. And that's what happens in negative soul ties. See, soul ties are very spiritual. It's honestly only either black or white. It's good or bad. And the way that it's good or bad spiritually is because good spiritual energy, it wants to give, right? If you're a believer, then you know that God so loved the world because he gave, plain blank, he gave, right? And you know, if you're a believer, you also know that the rest of it is that he gave his only son, to that whosoever believe in him shall not perish but shall have everlasting life, right? But the whole point is that God loved, so he gave. And if you believe that God is love and the Most High is love, and that we are reflections of the Most High, sons and daughters, then you know that unconditional love is about giving without even expecting anything in return. So a connection with somebody else is all about taking, then that is the opposite of love. When lust is involved, sometimes it's very sneaky and we don't even understand or comprehend that that's what's going on. But lust is there to take. Did you remember learning that the adversary, or you want to call it the Satan, the whatever, Lucifer, whatever other names that the westernized society of religion has called the adversary, it is only here to steal, kill, and destroy. But the first thing is to steal, to take. It's a taker. And negative energy takes. It's not concerned about giving. So that's literally it. It's kind of black or white. It's either you're there to give or you're there to take. And you can tell by mostly selfishness. Most recent video, I talked about how we bond ourselves to somebody else, and about how the more biological things that happen when we have sex, which are the hormones that are released, the euphoria that we sometimes feel, the oxytocin, which is like a feeling good hormone, the serotonin, all those things release, just like it feels good. Just like when you work out, those are the same hormones that give you a pleasure feeling. But sometimes afterwards, people can even feel feelings of emptiness or depression. You just feel different after that encounter. But I want to tell you about my personal experience, because it's way different than anybody else's experience that I've ever known. So here goes. I grew up Christian. I grew up in a religious setting all the time, and I always went to church like every Sunday and was involved in the youth choir, the dance ministry. I was a preacher's daughter. I was on the praise team. Everything. I was the president of the youth ministry. Everything that you can think of to be active in the church, I was doing it. So I was always there, like honestly, almost as much as I was at school. So I grew up with this thing in my head because of the scriptures in the Bible that if you are not married and you have sex, then either you'll get an STD, which I now understand as a spiritually transmitted disease or spiritually transmitted demon, or I would just get pregnant that day and then I would end up a pregnant teen mom, which is nothing wrong with that. Every single child is a blessing. But I just knew I didn't want that for myself. So I grew up kind of like afraid of sex in a way. I grew up afraid of sex because I felt like sex outside of marriage just meant impurity, right? Because a lot of us grew up thinking that way. And so I felt like sex was a very shameful thing. Went to college and had multiple, not like that, but like I had multiple like people that I would like mess around with, but I never had sex in college. However, I did lie to a lot of my friends about being sexually active because I wanted to be perceived as not so pure. But I later realized it wasn't until my early to mid 20s that I realized there's no way I can get away from being pure or perceived as such. But anyways, I did try multiple times to be sexually intimate with multiple people, and it didn't work. And by it didn't work, I mean tried multiple times and my body did not open up. The pee-pee did not go into the hole. Like, just be honest, it didn't go in. And as I tried multiple times, I had multiple relationships that ended off feeling like I could not provide or was not willing to provide that sexual stimulation for the other person, and then that's why it did not work out. So I also had this perception that, oh my goodness, now I feel like if I don't give myself up, then I won't be loved. Going into my most recent relationship, it was a little bit different. And sort of the first encounter with that person, I knew that it was kind of like a breath of fresh air. It just felt really different. It felt like I could open up. It felt like I could be a lot more vulnerable. And also, any type of difference or difficulty that I had within myself, instead of them shaming me for it or telling me that I need to fix these things about myself or reminding me how imperfect I am, that person uplifted all the flaws that I had and made them feel like they were not flaws, but rather just things that, because I was imperfect in that way, I was actually perfect in that way. Which is how God sees us. The Most High sees us that way. Because of all of our imperfections, we are perfect. But not perfect, but are perfection. Anyways, I think that somewhere down the line, I wondered, after months of not being in a relationship with this new person and not being sexually active, and me and that person both agreeing that I would not be sexually active until marriage, I initiated the idea of having sex because I wanted to abolish this fear that I would not be loved if I did not have sex with this person when they wanted me to. And I had sex for the first time. It was not like other people would tell me. First of all, it didn't hurt physically, emotionally, mentally. It did not hurt. It also did not feel like it changed who I was as a person. It did not make me more jealous, or it didn't make me jealous at all. There was no jealousy in the relationship. There is no jealousy in that relationship because I'm still in it after 2 years. It did not make me jealous. It did not make me wonder what's going on in their phone. It didn't change who I was as a person. It was just like, hey, we indulged in this activity and it was pretty fun. So what I learned from that was two things. The reason that people develop insecure attachments after sex, which is jealousy or greed for more sex or whatever other insecurity that they have, it amplified what was already there. if you're insecure before sex, the insecurity will magnify the sex. But if you have a healthy, divine attachment, unconditional love for that person before sex, then the sex will amplify whatever is already there. So what I'm saying is that I grew up thinking that sex is something that people do after marriage, but sex isn't something that happens after marriage. Marriage is something that happens when you have sex. And I'm a believer in that, because it says that when you indulge in that act, two people become one flesh, meaning their bodies, their temples become one. So that is what a spiritual tie is. And when you become one with somebody else, you're joining all of their energy from their past partners, your past partner's energy in them. And I truly believe that. Hello, lock kings and queens. Do you want to develop a holistic lock care regimen that aligns with your individual beliefs? Do your family and friends just not get your decision to go on your lock journey, but you're still seeking guidance in maintaining a happy, healthy, and hydrated crown? And do you want to better understand how your hair carries negative and positive energy, so you can better know how to protect your energy and regulate your nervous system, relieve stress and anxiety, and feel overall healthier? Well, I'm truly excited to share something special with you. Are you ready to embark on a journey like no other? I present to you all Crown Connection, a 5-day nature transformation to embody your highest self through a holistic lock journey. This isn't just a retreat. It is a transformational experience designed for you, whether you're in month 3 of your journey or year 3. We're talking about glamping in the heart of nature. Imagine luxury cabin accommodations, cozy, private style bunk rooms, and stunning mountain views. I've curated this soul nourishing experience for you to empower you, help boost your self-awareness, workshops created to personalize your lock maintenance routine, and help you release those limiting beliefs so you can step into your power. This is a co-ed experience for femininity and masculinity to represent itself. And the fun does not stop there. We have daily yoga and meditation practice, plant medicine workshops, and happy hour daily. And of course, a lot of downtime to connect with Mother Earth, hikes and hammocks, and tea time. So mark your calendars for May 23rd through May 27th, 2024. I'm hosting this luxury style camping retreat at River Mountain Resort in Everett, Pennsylvania. Are you ready to reset, renew, and refresh? Because you won't leave the same way that you came. The early bird sale for the retreat is now open, but you have to act fast because spots are limited. And if you sign up with the early bird sale, you'll become a VIP, where you'll get more flexible payment plans and a step-by-step guide from me on how to start your holistic lock care maintenance routine from start to finish. And you'll also get a VIP welcome session to help you prepare for the transformational journey that you'll have during this retreat. I can't wait to see you there. So, in knowing this, here is a little guide to, if you feel that energy is still attached to you, how you can move away from that soul tie, from that negative energy. Number 1, you are dependent on them. Interdependence thing that happens because it's an insecure attachment to that other person. So you must find out how to be dependent within yourself. Honestly, you must learn how to be dependent within the Most High and having a relationship with God as in spirit. Because sex is spiritual. When you have a relationship with God, first of all, your intuition will magnify, because I am a strong believer in that everybody has their intuition, their gut instinct that tells them these things, but we ignore that which is there to help us. The tie has already been established, so you must re-establish your relationship with the Most High. Number 1, so that you can strengthen your intuition, but number 2, so that you can become whole within yourself, because there's something that makes us feel like without that person we are not whole, because 2 flesh have become 1. So in order to abolish that flesh, that soul tie, you must believe that you are whole within yourself, you as one, and that other person doesn't make you any more whole. Another thing is that you just have to forgive yourself for the uncleanliness that you feel. Because believe it or not, the reason why a dog eats its vomit, I'm going somewhere with this, just hold on. The reason why a dog eats its vomit is not because the vomit tastes good, but it's because the vomit, even though it is literally throw up and waste, there are little pieces of nutrition still in that vomit, right? Most of us, we have soul ties. We indulge in the soul ties, and we keep coming back to the thing that's burning us because it feels good in some sense. We want to believe that those little glimpses of positivity within the whole cloud of negativity, we're holding on to those little glimpses. We're holding on to those little pieces of nutrition in the vomit. But the fact is, it's vomit. So we need to let the whole thing go. Let the whole thing go. See the manipulative ways within that person, because again, we already established that they hold negative energy. Negative energy only comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Either all three or one, at least one of them, most of the time. And that energy is stealing from your energy. So once you become one and become whole within yourself, you're part of that healing process is developing sufficiency on the Most High. You are whole within yourself. There's nobody else that you need to feel whole within yourself, and you won't feel like that other part is a part of you anymore. Therefore, the tie won't be a part of you anymore. If you're a believer, pray. Prayer is whatever energy is putting into manifestation. You have to believe what you're saying in order for it to happen, in order for it to receive or be received by you. Open hands. And yeah, that's all I have for this video. Thank you all for watching. What was the most impactful thing that I said? What resonated with you the most? What was a nugget? What was an aha moment? Comment it down below. And I hope to see you in the next video. But until then, I'm sending peace your way, love your way, and joy to you, your family, and your friends. All right, y'all. Peace.